Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. It's Pete. This is where we talk about money, finance, investing, where we give you information, education to help you make the best financial and investment decisions possible. If you are new to this channel and you're looking to learn how to invest in the stock market, how to create wealth for the future, but more importantly, how to keep your money safe, then this is definitely the channel for you. Please consider subscribing. Make sure you hit that notification bell so you get a notification of when I upload videos every Tuesday and every Friday. So in today's video, we are going to talk about investing because that's what we do here. But I do want to come at it at a slightly different angle. And it's also appropriate that I speak about this because we are in a recession. So I want to talk about how you can invest money wisely as a first timer or a beginner investor. And I'm going to give you my most valuable tips thus far on this channel since I started in January around some things that you absolutely need to consider if you want to emerge from this recession in a better position than you went into it. This is really important. I'm going to be talking a lot about mindset because this is so crucial. Whilst there's so much chaos or the perception of chaos out and about there right now, it's really important that we have the mindset where we can seek opportunities. So before I delve deep into that, let's start at the beginning. Let's get going. Now, we are in a recession. So a recession is basically declared when a country's GDP or their gross domestic product falls for 2 quarters in a row. And it is pretty apparent as to why we're in a recession right now. The simple answer is COVID. I mean, COVID changed the world. It shut down the world. We couldn't go out. We couldn't do the things that we would normally do. We couldn't earn money or spend money in the same way that we would under normal operating models, right? And so it's only right that we find ourselves in a position where the economy or the country's GDP doesn't do as well as it has done historically, because we came to a complete standstill. The whole world did. And when we talk about GDP, GDP is simply just a measure of how healthy an economy is. Now, if shops are shut, people can't spend money, people can't go to work, business can't operate, then clearly that is going to have a negative impact on the health of the economy. But what I do want to talk about is, what does that mean for day-to-day people? What does that mean for you and I? How might this affect our family, our relatives, our friends? And whilst I talk about that, I do also want to highlight where there might be opportunities as investors, because I think it's very, very important that we look at opportunities as investors. And the fact is, we've been in recessions before. Others are more severe than others, but we have been here before. And one thing is always true when it comes to investing. When you have a recession, there is a huge opportunity. And I'm going to talk a lot about that a bit later on. But first, let's talk about what some of the impacts of a recession might be. So one of the first things that you're going to see in a recession are job losses, right? Companies aren't able to operate. Companies aren't making profit. Certainly in the case of COVID, companies were shut down for a period of time. So jobs tend to go because the business can't afford to keep staff. Businesses are fighting for survival. They're looking to contract and reduce their outgoings in order for them to survive. So job losses are one of the things that we are going to see. We've already seen a huge number of jobs being lost, but certainly with furlough coming to an end in October, the numbers projected for the end of the year are in the region of 2.5 million to 3 million jobs lost. And that is a huge number. What does that mean day to day? It means that if you are one of those people who either gets made redundant or, doesn't have a job anymore, then it means that there's going to be competition when you go looking for jobs. In opposed to there being you and maybe 20 other people applying for a role, it will be you and 100 other people. One of the downsides to that is because there's so much demand for a role, companies no longer have to pay high salaries anymore. So what you'll also see as a result of that is you will find that salaries will also be constricted because there's so much demand for people looking for a limited number of jobs. So job losses is going to be one of those things that we're going to see. We also see that wages and wage packets, wage offerings will also reduce because of the high supply of skills out in the marketplace. The other thing that we might see, which is something that actually currently already exists here in the UK, is low interest rates. We've had low interest rates for the last 12, 15 years. We're at the lowest they've ever been so far already. But one of the ways that the government is able to stimulate the economy is by introducing low interest rates. And what that basically means is that it encourages people to take out mortgages, to buy cars, to take out lending, to get money pumping back into the economy to help things pick back up. Now, unfortunately, because of where we are, the bank rate at the moment is 0.1% anyway. It's the lowest it's ever been. There is real talk of negative interest rates. Now, that's good for one pool of people, but it's horrible for another pool of people. And I don't think it takes a rocket science to understand who that is good for and who that is bad for. It's good if you're looking to borrow money. If you're looking to take out car finance, personal loans, buy houses, for example, invest in property. Low interest rates or negative interest rates are fantastic because you're borrowing money at really, really low rates, at such affordable rates that you might as well laden yourself with debt to buy and invest in property because interest rates are so low. The flip side to that is it's bad if you're looking to save money. If you've got cash in the bank, it's really, really bad for you because in the territory of negative interest rates, you're effectively paying a bank to look after your money. So it's horrible for savers, absolutely horrible for savers. The other thing that you might see as a result of the recession, and I know that Rishi Sunak is adamant that this won't happen, but it's the introduction of austerity measures. We've literally just come out of austerity measures literally a couple of years ago. And whilst Rishi Sunak is saying that he doesn't want to go back down that route, it is still a huge possibility. Why? Because with so many jobs being lost, there isn't going to be that much of a tax take, because if you have 3 million people that are not working, you're missing out on the tax take for 3 million people. And those numbers are staggering when you add those numbers up, depending on what the tax brackets are. But whilst there is less coming in from tax from the government still needs to spend money on essential services, on schools, on the NHS, on the police, for example. And what that basically means is there is no tax money coming in to pay for that. The only thing that you do is you go and borrow money. Now, that's a double-edged sword, because if, like we say, interest rates are low and the government is able to borrow money at a low rate, that is a good thing if they are able to do that, but they still have the commitment that they have to pay back that debt. And whilst they have to manage the spend and the repayment of the debt, that's where austerity measures could potentially come in. So it's something that they're saying that they don't want to happen, but it is something that really can't be ruled out. So those are some of the effects of a recession that we might see. Now, I painted a pretty gloomy picture there, and there's not really that much to be positive about. However, it is really important that we do look for a silver lining. And that's what I want to talk about next. So this isn't the first time that we've been in a recession. We were in a recession back in 2007, 2008, 2009. People lost jobs, people lost money. It was horrible. I remember it because the markets fell by 51% and it was a nightmare. But out of the back of that recession, people made a ton of money on the stock market. There were businesses that sprung up. WhatsApp is a prime example of a business that was launched back in 2009, sold to Facebook in 2014. So whilst this seems like a really depressing period to be going through, there is opportunity. And I really want to encourage you guys to think about the mindset around this. And one thing that is guaranteed is that after this recession is done, there is going to be another one after it, and another one after that, and another one after that. The important thing here is what we learn whilst we're going through a recession. So what I want to talk about is, how do you spot the opportunity in the market's right now. And the only thing you need to do is just look at historic markets and where the markets are right now. Back in 2007, 2008, the markets fell by 51%. 51%. You look at the markets right now. The peak of the FTSE 100 back end of last year was 7,700 points. 7,700. As of today, we're in the 5,000, the high 5,000s, just under 6,000. So logically speaking, if we look at where the market has been, where it is right now, and we believe that the markets are going to retrace back to where they were, we'll find that there is a huge opportunity for us to invest in some way, shape, or form. And if we are patient, if we have an investment goal and an investment strategy, realize some pretty good growth. So what are some of the things that you can do in order to invest wisely? So if you're investing right now, one of the things that you absolutely need to be thinking about is how you get saturation in the market. What I mean by that is how you get exposure to as many companies as you possibly can. And I'm talking S&P 500, I'm talking, FTSE 100. How do you do that? You can do that by index funds, or you can do that using ETFs. These are relatively low cost investment vehicles that will allow you to buy into a bunch of companies all in one go. Saturation at this point is really, really important because, again, you only need to have a look at the stock market charts to realize how much of an opportunity there is right now. Right now. Not in 2 months' time or in 3 months' time, literally right now. So saturation is really important. The other thing you can do as an investor, as a beginner, is you can buy individual stocks. So this is when you're using people like Trading 212 or Free Trade. However, whilst I speak a lot about this here on this channel, research is so important. You have to understand what companies you're buying, how you do the research, and why you're actually buying the company. Investing in companies now who are paying dividends actually could be a very, very, very good move. So looking at individual companies that will pay a dividends, hopefully you reinvest that dividend as well. So you've got the likes of Coca-Cola and companies like that. Apple will be paying dividends that you could buy individually. It's not going to give you the level of saturation that you want from my first tip, but it's going to give you specific exposure to individual companies as well. The third thing is the most important. The most important thing. And this is where I really, really need everyone to really pay attention. Now more than ever, if you are going through the process of you might be losing your job, or you may be at threat of losing your job, you need to invest in yourself. Invest in yourself. I'm going to break this down into a number of areas because this is extremely important. So when I say invest in yourself, I mean taking strategic steps to ensure that you have the best chance of exiting this recession in the best position possible. What I mean by that is pay down as much of your debt as you possibly can. Because if you are in a position where you are going to lose your job or you're at risk of losing your job, you don't want to have the burden of financial liabilities on you. The more you can reduce down your liabilities, the better you're going to feel, the more relaxed you're going to feel, the more peace of mind you're going to have, because you know that you haven't got a credit card or you haven't got anything else literally round your neck, giving you that burden and that commitment to pay. So trying to pay down as much of your debt as possible is really, really crucial. The second thing that is really important under this banner of investing in yourself is ensuring that you give yourself an emergency fund. Now, an emergency fund will cover all the things that you have to pay for on a monthly basis. It will cover your rent, it will cover your mortgage, it will cover your electric, your gas, your council tax. You need to sit down, take note of what those expenses are, times that number by 3, 6, or 9. Whatever number makes you feel more secure. Have that money set aside so that you don't have the burden of having to go out to work or having to stress yourself out in order to meet your bills. So make sure that is something that you prioritize. And the third thing that I think is the most important thing when it comes to investing in yourself, and if you take anything away from this video, please take this, is invest in you. What do I mean by that? Give yourself the ability to attract money to yourself without you having to work for a business as an employee, i.e., develop other means for additional income streams. So whether it be you have a side hustle where you're writing blogs for people as a freelancer, or whether you're developing websites, or whether you're selling stuff on Amazon FBA, whether you're good at photography, for example, or video editing, whatever that might be, invest in you to be able to make that a reality. And it doesn't have to be an investment of money. It might be an investment in time to hone your skills, to get better at it, to really understand how you turn that into a side hustle that people are willing to pay you for. This is crucial because whilst we're talking about huge job loss numbers, you still have things that you need to pay for. And yes, paying down debt, having an emergency fund is going to help you, but you're going to need to have the ability to draw or attract income from somewhere else other than an employer. So this is really important. Invest in yourself, invest in skills. It doesn't have to be money, it could be time, but make sure that you invest in yourself. If you do this one thing, I promise you, you will be stronger, better than ever after all this is said and done. And guess what? I've said it before. This recession won't be the last one. There'll be another one after this, another one after that, another one after that. But what you do here right now, the skills that you pick up here right now, will empower you and give you the ability to survive all of the other recessions that come along. So guys, I hope you found that really, really interesting and helpful. I know that there are probably a load of questions. Feel free to drop them in the comments below. Also feel free to find me on Instagram as well if you have any questions or anything you want me to elaborate on. But guys, thank you so much for watching to this video. Again, if you've enjoyed it, make sure that you subscribe, smash that like button because it will really help me out with the YouTube algorithm, and hit that notification bell so you get notified when I upload videos every Tuesday and every Friday. Today's Tuesday, so I'm going to see you again in a few days' time on Friday. If you've not listened to the podcast, that is the artwork for it right there. Make sure you go check it out. If you're a first-time investor, again, looking to invest in the markets and you want to get the basics, I have an investment course. It is on the learning management system for $99.99. It's a really good investment of your time. It will give you the foundation that you basically need. There will be a link in the description. But until Friday, guys, take care. Catch you later on.